Hello, everyone. Welcome to the First Pencil with Kathy and Mike. My name is Mike the Car Guy, and I have stepped away from the Threads app long enough to join in this week with my best bud, wicked awesome car gal and friend to horses everywhere, Kathy Cruz. Kathy, have you been able to pull yourself away from Threads?
Somewhat, only because I had an appointment this morning, but also because I was so busy on the other new platforms that I ran out of steam for Threads.
I
Because
can see that.
I mean, listen, dude, I'm on.
Two new platforms hit at once, and
Oh,
it's kind of
yeah. I
overwhelming.
mean, I still am on Twitter because I have to, because it still has some value for me, even though it's dangerous to even be on there. And so there's I was thinking about this. There's Twitter, there's threads and brand new threads today. Actually, it was yesterday, but I think they let it loose on the world today. And then I'm on Post, Blue Sky, and Artifact. Artifact is the app from the guys that used to run Instagram. It's a social network per se, but not, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of social about it. It's more like a way to aggregate the news that you want to read and your subscriptions and things like that. And it's a little bit gamified, and it's brand new. But anyway, so is that all? Am I post? Let me look at my phone. It seems like there's more. No, I guess that's it. I mean, that's five. And that's just five, that's not counting, my time on
And some
Instagram.
are, like you
Oh,
said, Artifact is new, Blue Sky's new, Threads
yeah.
is just released in the last 24 hours. So there's a lot going on at once,
Yes,
and it's exciting. It's overwhelming.
it is.
Like
Yeah,
yourself,
it's overwhelming.
I'm still on Twitter. I think I'll just because I'm a glutton for punishment, I'll write it into the ground.
Yeah.
Just to be there. I
Well,
want to
it's a
I want to see the
transition time.
last post. I want to see what the last one is going to be before it just crumbles completely. But there's
It's a
still some
transition.
value there.
It's a transition time that people are, not yet over somewhere else. So you don't need to leave just yet. But
I maintain a presence there. I maintain a presence in quite a few places, but I'm spending time less in others and spent quite a bit of time in Threads. I like it. It's fun. It's new. I think I didn't. I'm in Blue Sky, and I check it here and there. I just didn't feel the same level of excitement as Threads has given me. So I think I'll end up spending more time in Threads. Threads is kind of like the best things between Twitter and Instagram. You can post your pictures, but unlike Instagram, when someone comments they can't post a picture, or they allow gifs now, but or gifs now, but it's not quite the same like as with Twitter. You can start a thread and let it run and post pictures, and so it combines a couple of the things that I like from each platform, and we'll see. Well, I'm not preferential. I'm not promoting one over the other. I'm just saying having fun.
yeah, Instagram, Facebook, I'm still on there because I have, well, I'm still on there too. I have a lot of people that I talk to on Facebook even, but mainly also because of Honolulu. So,
Right. You that's your primary source for marketing and gaining
uh-huh.
support for the horse rescue. So and when I jump into a new platform, and it's been a long time since we had new platforms, right? The first thing I try to wrap my head around is how can, first of all, if I'm in the car business, how can I use this to promote myself? How can I expand my circle of influence and build a community here so that I can be successful in my business? So even though I'm not in the showroom now, I still look at it through that automotive lens. How can a dealership, how can a salesperson get value from being a part of this? Because people ask me, hey, I just had a dealer ask me the other day, you think we should jump into TikTok? I said, that's up to you. I'm not going to give you an opinion. If I was at a dealership, I would not be. Are
No,
there dealers that are spending a lot of time, creating content for TikTok? You bet your ass there are. And they're becoming, internet celebrities. Are they selling cars? That's what I really want to know. Let's go to a couple of these stores that are, spending a lot of resources generating content for TikTok and ask them, how is it translating into car deals? And if they
how
can't
many do you
answer it,
see? Do you see that many? I don't see hardly any, but I don't pay any
I see quite a
attention.
few actually. But I think it's
And are
because
they
that's what I'm
dealerships or
looking for.
people?
their dealerships. I mean, their dealership efforts.
And what are they saying? Things like what?
They're making fun type TikTok videos relative to the dealer.
Fun
Valley
for
High
the dealer?
Toyota up in Victorville here in California.
Who's that? Who?
Valley High Toyota.
Oh, that's Brian.
Brian, he's putting a lot of effort into that platform.
Mhm.
I I always hesitate. I want to reach out to him because I know him personally
Uh-huh.
and ask him, but it's kind of, how do you phrase it? Because it could be like almost insulting if you say, "Hey, are you actually selling cars with this shit?" But that's really what I'm asking. So
Right.
it would take a real carefully crafted conversation to find out, how is this benefiting the store?
Yeah. One thing too that I want to say that these vendors with all these new platforms, especially with threads, these vendors are gonna just like they did with Google Analytics 4, they're gonna try to scare the shit out of you about trying to gotta be
You
here,
need to be on this platform.
gotta be there. Here, for just another $2,000 a month, we'll just do that for you.
Yep,
Uh-huh.
that's where I was going with it.
Yeah.
From a dealership standpoint, there's going to be no end of people coming in your front door. Either you currently work with them, or they want you to work with them, that are going to be using these new platforms as leverage. And if you're unaware of them, because there's still a ton of people in the world, unlike you and me, that aren't constantly looking for this stuff and living in this world, that don't even know that there are new platforms, right? I mean, how many dealerships GMs are just so focused on running their dealership that they don't even look up to the world around them. And you go in and say, "Hey, are you guys on Threads? What the hell is Threads?"
No.
And a lot of dealers, right, that fear, it's easy to capitalize on. "Hey, you guys are missing business if you're not in Threads. Are you on Blue Sky? Are you on TikTok?" Everybody's heard of TikTok, so, oh shit, you know what? Are we missing business? So yeah, here's a check. Let's get us into that platform. And now is a real time to be cautious and be aware of what's going on. Look at the platform, understand it yourself before you just sign on with a vendor or allow a current vendor to just expand your presence. Is it going to benefit you as a store? Really? Is it going after your client base, your customer base? Are you going to pull business from it?
I have to
And I'm
tell
not
you
saying it won't.
from just a one case situation. This company was spending $30,000 a month in Google ads, and I was watching the money ching, like 500 every day. And I'm like, what the fuck are they even getting for this? And I went and looked, and they were just generic as generic could be search ads that had, I don't think any, I don't even know, because I know what their sales were. I know what the dealership's monthly sales were. And if you're spending 30 grand a month on Google ads, you better be getting some traffic and some leads and some sales. But they weren't tracking any of that. They were
That's
just,
just flushed down its toilet.
didn't know and didn't care, I guess, because I mean, you care, you show people what you care about, and certainly never showed it to me that there was any care about the money going out, and more like we just have to do it. It's like, no, I mean, there's 30 grand a month to Google for generic ads. Are you kidding me? We're not in like 2013. This is the big time, and it's very specialized, and there are vendors like our friend Mike Fitzpatrick who have studied and been in Google ads for years and has a product that I think is very viable. And fuck, if he had 30 grand a month to spend, I can't even imagine what he would do.
You'd have to be staffing your store because you would be
Yes.
overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a
Yeah.
guy like Mike is one of those standouts in the vendor world that, I mean, his passion is for the success of his clients. He's not just peddling a product. And unfortunately, the industry is rife with that because there is such ignorance. And our business seems to be just overrun with folks that don't look into what they're spending money on.
Yeah.
And I know you've seen it too. Sometimes the more expensive it is, the assumption is it's going to be better. And I've seen dealers just throw ridiculous amounts of money on stupid things that anyone with half a clue in that arena would know.
Yeah.
That's not going to generate you the ROI that it could. I used to tell a dealer, instead of spending 17 grand on an email campaign and having a bunch of people come down to the dealership to get their $5 after they spun the wheel, so it's a cost, give me $500 of that.
Yeah.
And let me run some targeted Facebook ads. And this is back in 2013, 2014. And he would be like, no, $500, you're not going to get anything worth,
right. Oh man,
you don't spend the money, you're not going to get any return. And I would just sit there pulling my hair out.
Dude.
Like, what? So you're telling me if you spend a lot of money, it just automatically means it's going to be successful? Well, kind of. You get what you pay for. If you're only paying $500 a month, well, then give me the 500 and let me show you. No. Okay.
I can remember speaking at Digital Dealer, or one of those, at where it was because Facebook ads were new, and I would say, start with $500 a month. That's nothing. And they wouldn't even do that.
Right.
Here we are, and it's still not that way, unless it's somebody like, again, a friend of ours, Andrew Street, Dealer OMG. Andrew has Facebook ads dialed in, and he, to me, is the one. If you're going to spend on ads, Facebook ads, go to him, because all the other vendors that I see, what they deliver, the product, shall we say, they deliver is substandard, comparable to what Andrew does. But yes, even then, I can remember speaking. In fact, I was at an NADA 20 group or something. I was speaking and had a case where Andrew, and this is when Andrew first started out in like, he was in business maybe a year, and he had a client that was all like full blown ready to go. Tell me what it's going to take. So Andrew said, give me $5,000 a month and let me see what I can do. The next month, the dealer upped it to 20. And it's because he was getting unbelievable amounts of traffic and leads and sales. And so that was a long time ago. And now it's like 100 times better. And the way to just the creating Facebook ads and targeting and all of that is changed immensely.
And the evolution of the algorithms, how they can target people, the data that they've built over the last 20 years to be able to target people. I talk to folks all the time that always want to share how, I was searching this one thing and now all of a sudden I'm seeing ads for this thing, and they still don't get it. They still don't understand the complexity of the science behind it. And I'm not saying I do. I'm just knowing that everything about me as a person is out there. Yes. There are platforms that know my tastes in music, cars, clothes, shoes, eyeglasses, all of it. There's no secrets out there. There's no, we talk about the privacy, right? The importance of maintaining. There's no privacy. Once you log into any of these, you're gone. You just sign it away, and I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm a marketer's dream. I really am, because I'll just sign up with no care. I know it's out there. So understanding that, it helps you really fish in the holes where not only are there fish, but they're hungry, right? Yeah. You can't control the market. You can't always control when people are going to need a car. But what you can control is when those people need a car, they see you first. That's the goal. Too many times dealers are like, well, we need more car sales. Okay, it's not that simple. Let's figure out what it takes to get car sales. There are people right now in the market. We need to reach them, not just everyone that's living. And if we're signing up for every platform out there, just in the effort of trying to be in front of every living human, that's not necessarily efficient. You can, sure, you can. If you got an unlimited budget, then yeah, put your name in front of everybody. Everyone in California knows who Galpin Ford is, but not everyone goes to Galpin Ford to purchase a vehicle. There's a difference.
Yeah. 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 Or you can, what they call a spray and pray, which is the 30 grand a month model that I just mentioned. That I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much more. I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of not in the convincing business anymore. I tried. I was like, why wouldn't you do this? If I ran a store today, it would be a done deal. I mean, fucking done deal. I would like, it would, the things I would be able to do, but what I witness now is like, wow, okay, all right, you know, you want to stay that way. And honestly, that is when when you stay stuck like that and you don't see the threats coming. Next thing you know, they're at your door, and they are at the door. I mean,
Yes, we were just talking in the last week. Most of the automotive news periodicals have shared similar headlines that business is returning. You
mhm.
know, the first half of the year was better than a lot of the expectations. Wasn't great, but it you know, overshot some of the original projections. And most of the people that would be considered industry experts, both on the OEM side, the supplier side, and the dealers world, are saying the second half looks to be better. You know,
Mhm.
it is going to continue to increase. So now again is one of those times where dealers got to really look at, you know, are we spending 30 grand a month just and hoping for a return, or are we going to spend our money smart? Are we going to really inspect what we expect? And now that with that increase in business, that's going to be again circling back a leverage piece for vendors coming in. Hey, the industry's picking up. You want to be ready? Jump into here. I can do this. I can manage this. We can put a campaign together for, you know, Blue Sky. Oh, do you need to be in Blue Sky? Stop before you just start signing up for stuff. Do you need to be in Threads? You know, wait a minute. Back. Hold up. Let's before we just start throwing money again everywhere, because it's seen as an easy target. There's a lot of money in automotive, and a
Yeah.
lot of people, good or bad, a lot of people have decided that, hey, automotive is where I can make an income by selling to people that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. And honestly, a lot of times don't want to know. They don't care. They just want to write a check and have it be over.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know what I'm doing. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so give me money.
Yeah. I think that if there was a progressive thinking, forward thinking uh, organization, and you have social media dedicated, like a marketing department, then you're probably going to need, I would say, at least another part timer to navigate. If there isn't someone there already, uh, things like joining Blue Sky when it came out, joining Threads yesterday. If you don't have someone that's got their thumb on the pulse there, then you're going to need at least a part timer to navigate all of these platforms, because they are going to become niche platforms, and it's separating now, where everything in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12 was all about coming together in this one platform, Facebook, coming together as this one big community. But what we've learned is that that's not very healthy. It's not a healthy place for anybody, because we can't be everything to everyone.
Right.
And so there's this move now into a more uh, compartmentalized approach. And I think all these new platforms, especially, are going to be create some sort of a different. There'll be niche platforms, and I'm not sure. And just as a user, I can tell you, Blue Sky is fun. Mastodon is serious and bad. Bad meaning the tyranny is there is just not.
I did not enjoy it. Yeah.
It's not really social. It's really techie brained individuals, and but that's not bad. It's just not for me, but it is for others, right? There's
Which
others
is a shame
there.
because Mastodon is the name of a really good band. So I was hoping that there'd be something great in there. But what my fear is, and I won't even say fear, I think my observation has been there's still a lack of respect for the value of someone that's really, really good at social media management in automotive. And
Yeah.
I shared with you a few weeks ago, I saw an ad on LinkedIn. A group here in Southern California that has 7 stores was advertising for a social media marketing coordinator position, and was a management position. It wasn't like a, you know, some contributing to that department. It was a management position, and they were advertising 70 to 90 grand a year, which on the surface seems like a decent income. It's, you know, that's
Sure,
nothing
in the
to,
middle of the country, that's a lot of money, dude, but not here.
but for 7 stores,
And for seven
managing
stores, yes, true.
managing a team, creating content for the multiple different platforms, creating campaigns, because each platform has its own, you know, value, its own needs, its own style. It's not just creating a post, spreading it all through,
No, you can't do that
everyone,
anymore.
duplicating
Mhm.
it.
Nope.
And I kept thinking, for 70 to 90, you're not going to get the quality of person that you're hoping to get.
Yeah, agree. And
And
dude, you're not going to be able to, how is someone going to afford even rent?
yeah,
I mean, we haven't talked
yeah,
about
forget all that.
it we haven't talked about it on the podcast here, but let me tell you, it is rough. It's rough to have. I mean, you certainly can't buy it. There's no way you could buy a home here. I don't know how you could, but
Right. And these are LA Valley based stores.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
someone out like in the Inland Empire's got to commute, and that
right.
there's just,
No, I
when I
don't.
saw that, I was like, wow, that's why dealers are getting the level of return that they're getting, because they haven't invested smart.
Yep.
They haven't gone out and really found a professional, because a professional is going to dictate, $150, $175, 200. That's where the game begins.
Yeah.
And then, as the return starts to see value, then they're going to expect more. They're going to say, hey, I've done some great things for your group. Let's talk about this. Or they're going to bounce to some place that recognizes their value. And sometimes in automotive, we don't see the value of things that are actually value, and we just misplace it. Like I said before, there are still companies, and I hate to say like I'm against emails, because I'm not, but I just, for what I saw a dealer spend for the 4th of July weekend, just the past weekend, 15 grand is a big amount of money to drop on a $30,000 or 30,000 person email list.
What?
15 grand
What?
with a letter, right? And a letter and an email campaign. I'm like, wow.
Oh my God.
And well, the reason I heard about it is because they're complaining, because the store was dead. There was crickets in the showroom. And I'm like,
Oh my
well,
God.
honestly, what did you think was going to happen? That's not the world we live in anymore.
Let me just say, email is awesome. The problem though is that for years, since the beginning and even today, the general way of treating an email list as a dealership is blasting, if they're doing it at all, is blasting the specials. And not everybody on your email list is in the market. And so what they've done is said, oh, I don't want to hear, they've either unsubscribed or you're going to spam. They haven't treated the medium the way it should be treated with their client. Really, let's talk about it. They haven't treated the clients the way they should be. Because everybody gets thousands of emails all the time, and you don't have time to be bothered with a blast of stuff. I mean, and that's not completely, exclusive to the automotive. I mean, once you buy one thing, like I bought just some camisoles from like Aeropostale, and I was getting 3 emails a day from them. I'm like, what are you thinking? I already bought from you. I don't want to buy again. Maybe there's some metric that tells them that if someone bought that they will buy again, and probably that's true. However, I don't need 3 emails a day
Right.
showing me shit. I just
Space
don't.
it out.
Space
Space
it
it
out.
out.
Don't bother me. It's just no thought around. To me, it's just the strategy part of it. There's no strategy. It's just jump in, do it. And with automotive, it's the same thing about email.
And that's exactly the point that I was sharing with this guy is, and I brought up, I get texts at least twice a week from Birkenstock. I bought my wife a pair of Birkenstock shoes like 6 months ago.
Mhm.
Still twice a week, a sale, a discount, text. And yes, I could unsubscribe, but I just haven't taken that, extra step. I just swipe it to delete it.
Right.
And I was trying to explain it. I go, how much noise is out there in the world? He goes, yeah, I get those kind of texts. I go, exactly.
Mhm.
So start thinking like your customer.
Mhm.
Forget that, we think about automotive as the only thing that exists in the world, but there are millions of other types of marketing that customers are getting exposed to. What makes you think that yours is going to stand out? If you haven't earned their attention by providing good entertainment or educational content to where they pay attention to you, and then when you say, oh, there's a sale coming on, oh, okay, well, if I'm in the market, I'll know. But if you haven't earned that attention, you're going to get dismissed just like everybody else. You're going to become that Birkenstock tweet that gets swiped and
It's just
deleted,
part of the
or
noise.
that email from that clothing company. I still get emails from Lululemon, believe me.
Oh, okay.
I bought a pair of Lululemon slacks. What was I thinking? And then now I, get their weekly emails.
Are you still wearing them?
No,
No,
no, I did sell them.
you didn't
I
like
sold
them?
them.
You
No,
sold them. Oh, okay.
sold them on, was it Poshmark? Posh
Oh,
something or other?
yeah, Poshmark. Yeah.
I
Oh,
had them on Mercari, didn't get any bites. Put them on Poshmark, sold both pairs
no
like
shit.
that. Yep.
Now I hear people love those things, man, but I think it's
I
just probably personal taste.
6'4", 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Not Lululemon's customer
Yeah,
profile.
true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That is true.
5'6", 120 with the hipster beard, all
Yep.
in.
Yep.
But no, I
Man bun,
didn't.
hipster beard.
Yeah, I didn't work on any of the. I didn't
Yeah.
click off any of those boxes for
Yeah.
that.
Did you get decent money? I bet you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost retail.
Yep.
Totally worth it.
Yep. There are some things. Patagonia, Lululemon, I would say for sure those two are going to get basically retail. It's crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And I just want to share too that that's why I've been thinking about, because the cruise control blog has been, I've been running since 2010, and I just am a little tired of. I'm not tired per se. I'm unsettled about giving any more free content out to the web, as mainly because I see traffic down, and I see what Google's doing with using AI for search. And I see, just as someone who searches on a regular basis for many things, especially if you have a lot of research things, and I'm seeing the results I'm getting, and I'm not getting anything from like the places I was normally getting from. And a lot of them are really bad search results, and it's atrocious. And I know they're testing AI. I get that. However, it's not great to the user, the searcher, but also not great to people like me and Hanali for that matter, because our traffic's down like a good 30%. And so I got to thinking about like this thing about creating a niche area or something around me. And that's why I just decided to just start treating my blog as more like a newsletter. And then I can actually do more fun things too. That's more like me. I can write. I can do.
That last newsletter was fun. I love it.
Yeah, I want to
I
do
shared
that.
that with you. I thought,
Yeah.
you have a great way of sharing your sense of humor in writing. I wish I could emulate
Thanks.
more better.
I just have to. I have to make a
More
change
better.
here
I
and there.
just said more better. So
More better. Well, more better is good. But like you see, like I could write like some tips and strategies, but also like share more links of things that were important to me, and I think to them, to my subscribers, and then memes, because memes, are my life. So it feels now I'm not tired when I think about doing it. I do it weekly. I've only done the first one, but I'm going to move into like a more of a traditional newsletter kind of thing. And that will be email. It's shareable on the web, but it's not going to be giving free content out just to get Google traffic, because it's not really that great. So
do you when you're searching stuff and you get the AI powered search box up there, on the pink background, do you read those?
sometimes, but it's only because I just have not gotten the results I don't
I've noticed some of them
value
pick
yet.
up on content that's out there, but not necessarily be factually correct. For
Exactly.
instance, I searched a dealership that I'm very familiar with recently, and I talked about being number one in specific areas, and I know that they aren't
Uh-huh.
when it comes down to stats. I mean, I could get the zone report, and I
That's
know
right.
that they're not number one, but apparently there's been enough references to being number one in that it happened to be with fleet sales, right? So apparently that's had an impact on the AI. The AI has picked up on mentioning number one in fleet sales.
Yep.
So it says, number one in fleet sales. All right.
So somewhere the AI crawled somewhere, a few places, many places probably, that where it said they were number one. And it was probably them, them saying they were number one, because Every dealer says that. And
or someone on their behalf.
or someone on their behalf, right? And that's
Which
why
I kind of patted myself on the back for. Hey, all right,
don't
well done.
I'm just saying AI is not the answer. It's great for inspiration, but don't take it as fact because it ain't.
But it's susceptible to trickery, and I was able to convince AI that this particular dealership is number one in a certain area.
Yeah, I think I'm just tired of getting really poor results in Google, really poor results. It's really, yeah. So, and I see it, like I see the drop in my traffic, the drop in Hanali's traffic, almost the same amount of drop, which is weird. I mean, I'm not trying to make any like trend out of it, but it's the same amount. And then the
Well, we
fact,
know it's going to get worse at the end of the year when cookies are replaced by whatever they go to. So we're going to see it, becoming or being a marketer in the first quarter of next year is going to be a really, really tough gig.
yeah,
Because people are going to continue to demand results and demand proof that the money that they're spending with you is generating visibility, and it's going to become impossible to show them. You're not going to be able to walk into a dealer with a nice little pretty graph and some charts and some bar graphs showing, because it's going to look like shit if you try to do that.
I
You
wonder
can
if
see here
traffic
that
around
it went to
everywhere.
zero.
I wonder if traffic on other websites is down a lot. I wonder, especially if I should ask.
I know the Bing pages that I manage are off.
So I know a lot of people from years ago in social, from the blog world, and a lot of them popped up in my threads feed last night because
Oh, cool.
we don't see them often, and they're there, and I'm like, wow, Jay Bear, oh my God, I haven't talked to you forever. What the fuck? And then somebody else too, I forgot. But anyway, so I'm like, maybe I should ask them if they're seeing this kind of drop in traffic, because that's to me just super concerning as someone that's that needs quality search results. And so again, I think I'm just going to go back to your credibility. And if you're credible, you're gonna be, because if search results is turning up the shit that I'm seeing, if there's somebody credible that I know, that I personally know, then I'm going to believe them. Like John Loomer. I believe John Loomer. John's Facebook ads, dude, the best one I know.
Extraordinaire. Yeah.
He's got a great platform for training for that. And if I see him in search, but I don't, which is weird because I visit his site. And anyway, I'm just riffing here about like how to figure this out, because I just feel like there's something very wrong with Google search. And how are people like us, not big brands are going to have a ton of money to give to the gods, and they'll be able to they already have a name, and so people will remember them. But the people that are out here trying to like make a living are trying to figure out the way to go. So I just don't know where.
And that's the scary part, because Google themselves have always said that they're all about that small to medium sized business, right? The whole, their plus about the Google business profiles was it's free, and it's going to help small to medium sized businesses, maintain a presence, increase their growth. Local search is, geared around that.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, even with all of that, it's getting harder and harder and harder to stay relevant in local search with all the changes.
Yes. Yeah. All that Google My Business that came out, Google My Business, that was the whole, create the profile and, local search. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we don't love you anymore. Same with Facebook. Like, they put out stats like, oh, the small businesses are the bread and butter, and they're the large percent of people that use Facebook. And it's like, well, okay, but you're not
helping them anymore.
No. Like, where is that going? And I'm not saying it's not going to be a straight line, right? It's going to be a very wiggly line that will go backwards and forwards, back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or vice versa. And but definitely keep your ear to the ground, because pay attention, because there's some things happening that are not great. Yeah.
All right, you ready to switch it up? We got some fun stuff we can talk about.
Okay.
I'll start. How about that?
Okay.
Because you have some stuff that I really want to talk about in depth.
Oh,
And I just
yes.
want to,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
want to just mention one quick thing. On this day in history, 1979, the B-52's first album was launched. And I always say I love me some B-52s. They made it so fun to be weird. You know what I mean? They made weird fun.
Yeah.
They, in a lot of seriousness, because you think the late 70s there was a heavy punk scene, which came out of the stagnation of the 70s. There was all these things going on, and all of a sudden there was just this fun, weird music. Obviously, Rock Lobster was every third song for about the next 3 years. Every party, everything. But my favorite track on that first album was Planet Claire.
Oh,
when I
mine
first
too.
heard that one, that resonated with me. I was like, oh, I fucking love this song. And Dances Mess Around, you cannot undervalue that song either. I mean, for a launch for their debut album, so much fun, lasting stuff for that album. So I just wanted to get that out there.
How did they create that song? Planet Claire has pink air and all the trees are dead. No one ever dies there. No one has a head. I fucking love that song so much.
It's awesome, is it?
And then the way that, like, however, I don't know what sound it is, but that
it's like a Morse code thing.
Yeah. Oh, I love B-52s. Yeah, I remember they were so weird, but it wasn't even, I didn't really even say the weird. I just thought, oh, these guys have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And
they're fun.
And
I don't mean weird with any negative connotations. It's just they're themselves. They're like, you don't like it? That's okay. Fuck it. We're not here for you. We're having fun.
Yeah. 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 Which it's reminiscent. Well, it reminds me now that as you know, I watched the Wham documentary that you.
Yes, I wanted to get into that with you. Tell me all about
it. There's one part in it where George Michael says, because he's talking to England, it's really where punk started, right? And he said, he goes, we're 4 years past that. We just want to have fun. And I think it was a journalist or somebody asking them, because they would wear shorts on stage. Him and Andrew would wear shorts on stage and just
those dolphin running short looking things.
Oh my God.
Super short shorts.
Super short. Yeah. So yes, the Wham, it's called Wham, I think. I think that's the name of it, just Wham. And documentary it's on Netflix. And I say that, with a trepidation, because I'm pretty sure, right? It's Netflix, right? It was just last night, so I should remember that, but I've been bouncing around lately. So, but Netflix, it's very, very good. It is very, tells the great story about how they started, and it's a deep. Well, they were best friends since they were 12 years old.
Okay. Didn't know that.
And just started, like, George was the one that wanted to be a star, and Andrew was more like wanted to have a true proper band. And George thought he would, like, Andrew had the strategy part of it and George had the star power. And they both, Andrew's parents were very liberal in their treatment of how their kid could grow up and let him do what he wanted to do. And he didn't have to go to college, or he didn't have to, whatever he wanted to do, he was going to be able to do. Whereas George didn't. He had a very strict upbringing, and he couldn't even have the record player when he was young. And so the two came together, and George kind of, I'm sure Andrew did from George, but George says that, I wanted to be Andrew, and that's how and then George had the star power. So they did remember the Wham rap? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So that got released, and they didn't have a name yet. And it was just in clubs, dance clubs and stuff. And it went nowhere. But then somebody found them, this dude, I can't remember his name, but this dude found them and started promoting. And so then they started Careless Whisper and just singing other songs. And so once their album got created and stuff, then they re-released the Wham Rap, and it became
Ram one.
like number 2 or number 1. And so it's super deep dive into, which is what I love, into their beginnings and how they, made their way to where they became. And then it leaves off when George goes, when they break up, basically. And I have to say, Andrew is they're both very good friends to each other, but Andrew, because George was getting a lot of press, and people they show clips where these journalists or interviewers are asking, Andrew, do you feel guilty or do you feel left out? And all these stupid things.
Living in the shadow?
Yeah, exactly. And Andrew in no way felt that way. He said, I promote my friend 100%. And when they broke up, the reason they broke up, I won't say all of it, but it was a true friendship that kept them going. And none of that, none of that ego stuff that comes out. There's ego, but there's not ego enough to break people up or to cause a rift in their friendship. And that's to me, he was just a really good friend. So there you
I
go.
definitely want to look forward to it, or look at seeing it, because I liked them. I mean, Young Guns was my favorite song from them, and
they have a whole dance routine that they created. And the gal that used to be, okay, DC Lee, I've mentioned her before, but she was in Style Council with Paul Weller and Mick, and actually she married Paul Weller, and
right.
they have, I think, 2 children out of the marriage, and they're divorced now. But DC Lee was in Wham. DC Lee was the African American gal, and then the other gal, the blonde-haired gal, was Andrew's girlfriend. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's
fascinating.
And so they have a whole like dance routine around Young Guns. So yeah.
That was kind of like one of those things, not to call it like a guilty pleasure or anything, but being enjoying that song wasn't something that I was really forthcoming with in that time, because I was knee deep in the heavy metal scene, and also a fan of the new wave scene, and that wouldn't have been the cool song for me to know, but in my room at home, I know the words.
And of course, there's a major part of it is him having,
because it was fun. It was just enjoy. It was a chance to just be fun.
So it's him closeted. He's closeted during this whole time. He had an opportunity early on to come out, and he really wanted to, but that just wasn't viable. And so he just stayed closeted forever and ever, George. And I think that was obviously, I mean, I know it was a very dark time later on, because whenever you hold shit in, it always has a way of manifesting, whether it's through you get disease of some sort, anger can come out, emotions can come out that you don't recognize, you don't normally see yourself this way. So he had a lot, it becomes like a pressure cooker. And then when he finally did come out, it was okay to come out, but wow, it was such a tough life. People would say, oh, you've got everything, you've got this #1 hit, you've got, you're recognized in the world, you're
incredible sex appeal, all that stuff.
He sang with Elton John, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. I mean, and people are like, you have everything, and he would be down, and of course we know now why, so yeah, it's such a sad commentary on it, but it's very good. It's a very good story. It's well told. So
I'm definitely going to check it out for sure.
Yeah, good.
Anything else you're looking into reviewing, living, other than Blue Sky and Threads?
I can mention this morning the Hard Fork podcast. It's Casey Newton, who has a newsletter called Platformer. I love Casey. He is very funny, and he's very connected to all things tech and social. And so it's Casey and Kevin Roos from New York Times tech reporter. and they are talking to Adam Mosseri from Instagram, who's head of Instagram, and obviously this morning talking about Threads, and it's a background of it, and it's a very fascinating interview. It's, I want to say, 38 minutes long podcast. So I can put the link in the show notes, but highly
Definitely.
recommend Hard Fork and Pivot are the two like must listen to when it comes to this subject that we talk about on this podcast, for sure.
Do you think it would help better the understanding of the platform, its
Yes.
rules, its culture, its community?
Yeah, they talk a lot about how it's because it's going to be this decentralized protocol. It is decentralized protocol, which is a kind of nerdy way of saying that you'll be able to build your following on it, and then you'll be able to take your following with you to other apps, even though you're not even on those apps. I'm not sure how that's all going to work, but Blue Sky is talking about that being the case, as well as Mastodon, where you can be on like your own server kind of deal. So, but the fact that Threads is talking about it, and what he says, what Mosseri is talking about, is how that's the future of how this is going. He said this is how we see it was going. And so, because they're saying, gosh, it's weird for Meta to give up, this control, because you won't have control, because the person will be able to take their audience with them. But what I like is that they recognize, as I'm like a lot of the social media platform owners and people that are at the management level, they see the users as the content creators. We are the ones that make the platform what it is, and that's the thing that Musk has not even remotely understood. Without us, there
Or
is
acknowledged in any respect.
none. It's like he's kicked dirt in our face, and just being on there.
Yeah, we're lucky to even be a part of his fabulous platform.
And if you don't pay me, then I'm going to throttle you, or I'm not going to let you show up in search, which I'm not being shown up in search unless you type out my number.
In fact, Scott Monty had a nice post this morning. There was someone from Twitter saying, we believe that all voices matter, blah, 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 blah. Everyone's important. And then, pay $11. So he just wrote on there. So pay $11 to matter more is what you're saying.
Exactly. Exactly. It not only like doesn't, I don't know. It's like, it's not even, I don't want to imply that he's being apathetic about it. He's earnestly, deliberately coming after people. He's deleting accounts of people that are saying bad things about Tesla. And when I say the bad things, truthful things. Right. There's a huge,
another one burst into flames. Ow.
Yeah. There's just this morning the guy that was, he had the account called Plain Sight, and his account got suspended as well as his personal one, but they were the go-to for but this morning they were the go-to for Tesla news. And this morning the National Highway Traffic and Safety Board, is that how you say it? But
Traffic and Safety Advisory Board.
Yeah. NHTSA is asking for more documents from Tesla about full self-driving, quote unquote, autopilot. And it's looking like the fines could be, $130 billion. So I just feel like things are going off the cliff. It's like they always say that thing about like disaster comes slow and then all at once. And that might be the case here, which there's nobody that would be happier to watch that fucking thing go. So nonetheless, it's so the decentralized thing just it makes it so that content creators, the people that make the platform, are actually getting like some love from the platforms, instead of just being users that are a commodity. So that's exciting to me.
So the exciting part, to wrap it all up, is if you're listening to us and you like what you hear and you want to connect with us on the new platforms, Kathi Cruz is obviously easy to find. She's got the username locked.
So are you.
And well, some like my Twitter handle is Mike the Car Guy 1, because when I signed up for Twitter in 2012, there was actually a Mike the Car Guy on there already, but it's a dead account. He hadn't posted on it for forever. And I wrote to them and said, hey, I'm an active Mike the Car Guy, and I still couldn't get it. So I'm Mike the Car Guy pretty much everywhere else except Twitter. On Facebook, I'm the Car Guy. There's variations of it, but you or just Kathi Cruz everywhere, which I love.
Yeah.
So reach out, connect with us. And if you are listening and you heard something that you like, let us know. We definitely are looking for feedback all the time. We have guests on that had great feedback that we wanted to come on the show and share it with us live on our podcast as a guest. We'd love to have you on there if you're listening to us. Or if you just want to talk about something that's happening at your dealership on the line, what you're going through, what's working for you, we'd love to hear that so we can share it with other auto professionals and get the goods out there, see what's working. If you're having a challenge, you got 90 to 150 years of combined experience between the two of us here in automotive and digital and social. That's a big
swing.
Huh?
That's a big swing, 90 to 150.
Well, in the different forms, right? Like 150 years car business total experience, 90 in social.
Got it. 150 seems like it. You know what? Casey said something this morning, in fact, and I wrote it down because I wanted to remember. Because Kevin came back from his vacation, Kevin Roos on Hardfork. So they came back from their vacation to interview Adam Mosseri.
Just to interview him?
Yes. And I thought about it because the way that Casey said it made me think about it. But the car business, being in the car business since you were little, like me and you, it's a world where taking a vacation is a moral failure.
Isn't that true though?
It's so true. Oh my God. I love Casey so much. He's so funny, but he just says things like that is so true, but it's right. I mean, the only time you would go on vacation was when you either were quit or were fired. You wouldn't, that was the only
between gigs. That was my vacation. But the problem is you couldn't do anything because you didn't have a check coming in. So you couldn't enjoy that time. But yeah, I've never taken an actual planned scheduled vacation from work because I was always in a position where if I wasn't there, someone else had to be there twice their shift. They had to bell to bell for 3 or 4 days or whatever it was, and I didn't want to do that to anybody else. Now that I've covered for many people that were on vacation, I've done 17 days bell to bell, and I'll tell you, at the end of that stretch, I was freaking burnt. I was like, stick a fork in me. I mean, I was probably desking some deals that didn't make any sense at that point, but you want to make sure everybody's doing it. But I've personally never taken a vacation in the car business.
I know. I was able to get a few, but most of them were 4-day weekends, things like that.
Sure.
But yeah. Yep. So, and I did want to mention it, I did talk about my newsletter. So if you're still listening and you want to sign up for my quote unquote newsletter that I don't have too much written out on my website about yet, but if you go to my website, you can just sign up for, I think there's a place there. Where is it? Where I forgot on the homepage. Well, go to one of my blog posts. It's right on the right-hand side in the sidebar.
I can say that it is very, very cool. I love the new format. I look forward to the next one for sure.
I'm going to have an actual platform where you'll have to maybe log in or something and it'll be free, but I'm probably going to do a low cost paid version that might have something more, but
as long as I can log in with my Google ID, I'm good.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, well, so I guess we're done for now, huh?
Have a great week, everyone.
Yeah, it's been it's 4th of July week, so a lot of people are off, but not us, because
we're in automotive. Yesterday was National Workaholics Day, and I thought that's just a fancy name for every day in the car business.
Yes, it is 100%. Yeah. Okay, you guys. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.